Long ago, in the village of Odugun, nestled between tall hills and wide rivers, lived a woman named Egbun. She was celebrated for her ewagoin, delicious mashed beans, served with a stew so rich and flavorful that those who ate it felt as if the gods themselves had touched their tongues. Her fame spread far and wide, and soon people from other villages journeyed for days just to taste her magical dish. But beneath the praises and the feast lays a dark secret, one that even Egbun herself could barely stomach. She had made pact with the dark spirit many years before. When Egbun was young and the village was gripped by famine, she had wandered deep into the forbidden forest. She was starving and desperate, searching for food in a place where no one dared to go. Her body ached. She collapsed near a shadowy grove by the river's edge. It was here that she met Ajay. She encountered the ancient and malevolent spirit who guarded the forbidden forest secrets. Ajay appeared as an old hunched woman with eyes that burned like coals. Her bony hands, she held a pot simmering with a thick fragrant stew that made Egbun's mouth water. Ajay smiled, revealing sharp crooked teeth. "You are hungry, child. I have what you seek." Egbun, too weak to speak, nodded desperately. Ade chuckled, her voice echoing through the trees. "I can give you this stew and the secret to making it forever. People will come to you from far and wide, and you will never starve again. But there is a price." "What price?" Egbun whispered. "The stew will make you rich and powerful, but each time you make it, you must add the blood of your own people. A single drop will do. As they feast, their spirits will feed the power within the stew, and their lives will be tied to you." Hunger gnawed at Egbun's bones, and desperation clouded her judgment. Without fully considering or understanding the weight of the deal, she agreed. Ajay handed her a small black gourd filled with a dark vicious liquid, the essence of life that would forever change her fate. From that moment, Egbun's life was never the same. The ewagoin she made became legendary. Her once empty home became a place of wealth and abundance, and people adored her for the gifts her stew seemed to bring. Those who ate it became fortunate, healthier, and more beautiful. But with every spoonful, Egbun added a drop of blood, quietly weaving the dark spirit curse into each pot she prepared. As days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years, strange things began to happen. The people who had eaten from Egbun's stew, though seemingly blessed at first, soon fell into misfortune. Their health faltered, and they grew pale and weak. Others, who had once prospered, began losing their wealth, and some gave into the hands of death. And soon, darkness settled over their homes. Whispers started spreading through the village, and people began to question the price of Egbun's gift. Iya Olani, the village elder and healer, grew suspicious. She had seen too many lives fall apart after enjoying Egbun's magical stew. One night, she prayed to the ancestors, asking for guidance. In her dream, she saw the truth. A dark spirit hovering over Egbun's house, feeding off the people's soul with every meal they consumed. Iya Olani knew she had to act fast. The next morning, the healer gathered the villagers and revealed Egbun's dark secret. At first, the villagers refused to believe her. How could the woman who had brought them such joy and comfort be cursed? But as the healer spoke of the spirit's warning, they remembered their fading strength, their waning fortunes, and the shadows that clung to them. Their love for Egbun turned into fear. In a heated frenzy, the villagers stormed Egbun's house. They dragged her from her home, their eyes filled with betrayal and rage. Egbun, no longer the proud woman she once was, fell to her knees, begging for forgiveness. Tears streamed down from her face as she tried to explain her desperation all those years. The hunger that had driven her to make the path, but the villagers were deaf to her cries. "You have cursed us all," they shouted. "You have bound our lives to darkness." And in a swift movement, the elders of the village banished Egbun to the very forest where she had first encountered Ajay. Her name was to be wiped from the village's history, and her home was burned to the ground. The villagers believed that by casting her out, they could free themselves from the curse that had entangled their lives. With nothing but the clothes on her back and the small black gown that had sealed her fate, Egbun wandered into the forest, her heart heavy with guilt and sorrow. Egbun returned to the place where she had first met Ajay, hoping to undo what had been done. The mist hung low and the forest seemed alive with whispers. The air grew cold as Ajay appeared once again. Her fiery eyes gleamed in the dark. "You have returned, child," Ajay said, with a sinister grin. "Do you now understand the cost of what you sought?" Egbun fell on her knees before the spirit. "Please," she begged, her voice broken. "Take it back. Undo this curse. I cannot bear the weight of what I've done." Ajay's laughter echoed through the trees. "It is too late. The bond has been made, and the price must be paid in full. You too are bound by the blood you have taken." Despair clawed at Egbun's heart. She realized there would be no escape from the darkness she had invited into her life. The spirits of the villagers she had cursed haunted her, their faces twisted in pain, their whispers filling her mind. Overcome with guilt and sorrow, Egbun saw only one way to free herself from the torment. In the dead of night, with the cold mist covering around her, she took the small black gourd, the very thing that had ruined her life, and poured its content over her hands. The dark liquid seeped into her skin, its coldness biting deeper than the sharpest knife. As the poison took hold of her, Egbun collapsed by the river where she had first met her faithful path. The wind howled through the trees as her breath grew shallow, and the faces of the villagers she had cursed faded into darkness. Her body lay still, the gourd rolling out of her hands, empty and hollow. just as her soul had become. In the morning, the villagers found her lifeless body washed near the riverbank, her face twisted in an expression of sorrow, regret, and pain. The curse was lifted, but at a terrible cost. The once vibrant woman who had brought them so much fortune now lay in silence, a tragic reminder of the darkness that comes when we make bargains with forces beyond our control. The villagers returned to their homes, forever changed by the tale of Egbun. Her name was spoken only in whispers, a cautionary tale of greed, desperation, and the terrible price one must pay when they seek power at the expense of death. And so, the story of Egbun ended, not with triumph, but with tragedy, her life claimed by the darkness she had unleashed.